So you're thinking of making a move to the Baltimore or DC area, and you're really torn in trying to figure out, should I live in DC? Should I live in Baltimore? In this video today, I'm going to give you the pros and cons of each city so that you can make the best decision for your family. And we're getting started right now. What's up everyone, it's Adam Taylor with the Relentless Home Group right here in the Baltimore metro area. Hey, if this is your first time to our channel, we do a ton of videos talking all about Baltimore. We talk about living here, working here, commuting, and getting out into our community and having a ton of fun. So if that's the information that you're looking for, consider hitting the subscribe button down below right here. Give the notification bell a click, that way you're alerted when we put out another video. Now, I've got to be honest with you, right now we are receiving so many phone calls, text messages, and emails of people looking to move or relocate to the area, and we absolutely love it. So if you're thinking of making a move right here to the Baltimore metro area, please reach out to us. Give us a call, shoot us a text message, or send us an email. However you need to get a hold of us, we've got your back when moving right here to the Baltimore metro area. So today we're comparing Baltimore versus DC. Now make sure you stick around to the end, because not only am I going to give you the cost of living differences, commuting, job stuff, but I'm also going to give you the best things that you can do in each city. So make sure you stick around to the end, because you're going to want to do these things. You work too hard to not enjoy yourself. And so let's talk about how far Baltimore and DC are apart to begin everything with this video today. So Baltimore and DC are separated by 35 miles. The quickest and easiest way to get between the two cities is really going to be via a train, because you're really not going to run into any traffic there. But if you did have to drive, coming up and down Interstate 295 is going to be the most direct route between both cities. Now, with that said, you could take Interstate 95 and loop around Interstate 495 to get into the specific point that you need inside of DC. But consider Interstate 295 as your main point of travel when going down to the DC area. So the cost of living between the two cities is pretty drastic. According to salary.com, it's 31.8% higher in Washington, DC as compared to Maryland. Now the good thing for DC is they're actually paying a little bit more for jobs. On average, you'll earn 7.7% more doing the same job in Washington, D.C. than you would here in the Baltimore area. So let's break it down to real numbers, right? If you made $60,000 in your job in Baltimore, and then you did the same job in Washington, D.C., you would need to make $79,000 and some change in order to maintain the same lifestyle that you have presently in the Baltimore area. What about getting around both cities? DC, honestly, they have the best system in all of the US. Their metro subway system is just so smooth, it runs on time. The trains never stop running. It's great, and hands down, they win. They are way better than Baltimore. We're still a work in progress. I mean, we've got a light rail system, we've got a subway that runs north and south out of the city, and some bus lines, but that's about it. So DC has the best public transit system, and in reality, that's the best way to get around Washington, DC, and even in and out of DC if you're coming from the Baltimore area. What about traffic though? If you've got to drive into Washington, DC, you're going to be in for a rude awakening if you've not been here to the area before. Commute times are treacherous when going into DC and out of DC during rush hour times. Now, the average commute time, or rush hour time rather, is about 90 minutes here in the Baltimore area. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Baltimore is a piece of cake and the roads are wide open all the time. No, we have traffic. We have a ton of traffic. But in comparison to Washington, DC, where if you want to go 2-3 miles, it may take you an hour, it's not going to take you anywhere near that long here in the Baltimore area. What about air travel? You see, DC's got two airports. You've got Reagan National and you have Dulles Airport. Whereas Baltimore, we only have one airport, Baltimore-Washington International Airport, otherwise known as BWI. Now, both airports are full service airports. They offer international travel, which is great. However, BWI honestly is much better because it's easier to get in and out of. traffic to get to the airport is nowhere near as treacherous as it is in DC. Now, with that said, DC, if you're going out to Dulles Airport, you're gonna have to hit that toll road, and you're gonna have to make sure you have an additional few dollars for the tolls, in addition to the parking that you're gonna have to pay at the airport. You'll find that traveling through Baltimore is a bit better because we are a hub for Southwest Airlines, which makes air travel pretty much throughout the United States a breeze, because I haven't been able to find a city I can't go to out of Baltimore. So when you're looking at air travel, consider the two, but 9 times out of 10, you're gonna find your best rates and fares and experience, to be honest with you, traveling in and out of BWI. What about housing? When you have to buy a house, what could you expect to pay? Well, my friends, I've got good news and I've got bad news for you. If you're looking to move to DC, the average home price is over $640,000 in Washington, DC. You heard me right, $640,000. That's just the average. Now, if you take that and compare it directly with Baltimore inside the city limits, Baltimore's average home price inside the city is $114,000. You may be thinking, that's over $500,000 difference. Well, here's why, okay? The sales that are being calculated when you put those numbers together, we have some rough parts of town in Baltimore. I'm not gonna make any joke about it. There are homes that are being given away basically for pennies on the dollar in Baltimore, which is why that statistic is very drastic. I think the better thing to do is to actually compare Washington, D.C.'s average home price with the state of Maryland's average home price, which is $294,000. Comparing both of those together, factoring in the entire state, we're still over half of the cost just for an average home in the Maryland area compared to Washington, D.C. So you will get much more for your dollar, almost double, by purchasing a home in Maryland or in the Baltimore metro area. So what about renting a home? All right, well, you're gonna run into the same challenge, my friends. DC is about 30 to 50% higher in their rental rates in comparison to renting the same type of unit in the Baltimore area. With that said though, you're gonna get a bit more as far as amenities go in DC. That rental may include parking or the use of a fitness facility or something else when renting in DC. You see, the reason for that is many of the rentals in DC are run by management companies that control large apartment complexes or condo style buildings. Whereas in Baltimore, you may be renting from an individual owner that doesn't have all of those amenities that I just discussed there. So really do your research on what you get when deciding to rent in either Baltimore or DC. What about higher education? Well, I'm gonna just leave it as a toss-up on this one. When you're looking at higher education, you've got some great universities in the Baltimore area and DC. In Baltimore, you've got University of Maryland, Johns Hopkins University, McDaniel College, you've got Towson University, the University of Baltimore, and a few others. Now in DC, you have Georgetown, Howard, George Washington University, American University, George Mason University. All these great schools are split between both cities, again, only 35 miles apart. So honestly, like I said, it's a toss-up and it really depends on your field of study. So you want to go out to eat and grab some amazing food. Who's better, DC or Baltimore? My friends, Baltimore wins this one hands down. And no, it's not because of our great seafood. Everyone knows us for that, but it's everything else that's out there. We've got great Italian food, Greek food, Asian food. It's all right here in Baltimore. And what I like even more is that you get a real life experience by this. What I mean by that, you're going to go, say, grab a bite to eat in Greektown here in the Baltimore area. You're gonna get awesome Greek food right here and experience everything regarding like the culture and the people and feel like you're almost in Greece having this meal. So Baltimore wins this hands down. I read a quote when doing my research for this video that I thought was quite interesting. It was in regards to happy hour. It said that DC's happy hour prices are the normal prices here in the Baltimore area. So you can see what a drastic difference it is when dining between both cities. Sports fans, this one is for you. So let's compare sporting events here in Baltimore in comparison to DC. Baltimore, we've got professional football and baseball with the Baltimore Ravens and Baltimore Orioles. Compared to DC, that has everything. They've got football, baseball, basketball, hockey, women's basketball, a stop on the PGA Tour, professional soccer. They've got it all. But what's great about this is no matter who you're rooting for, your team is bound to come through one of our cities, okay? Either DC or Baltimore, and getting to a sporting event is pretty much a breeze. With the exception of going to a Washington Redskins game, it is an absolute pain in the neck to travel down to DC, or rather Landover, Maryland, to get to a Washington Redskins football game. It's kind of challenging, my friends. So, football fans, be aware if you're going to DC for a football game. But what's great is the teams are really, really good here in the area, with the Washington Nationals just winning a World Series in 2019. So you sports fans are going to be in luck and love this area. No matter if you decide to live in DC or Baltimore, you're bound to find something you really like. Well, I hope you're finding this video useful. If you are, I would love it if you would hit the like button down below. It would mean a ton to me, and it will help me out in producing other great videos just like this one. But I've got a question for you. What are the things that you love to do? What have you heard is great about either DC or Baltimore? Comment below right here if you could. That way we can share these awesome events and experiences with others that are watching this video who are moving to the area. In addition to that, if you want to know, hey, what's a good spot to go kayaking in Baltimore? Or what's the best place to get, say, Vietnamese food in DC? Put that in the comments below. I'll find out and comment right back to you. All right, thanks for sticking with me. Here we go. These are the things that you've been waiting for. What are the fun things to do between Baltimore and DC? Well, I like to start that out by talking about music and concerts. You see, I love going to concerts. It's one of my favorite things to do. And between Baltimore and DC, I can pretty much find any band or performer I want to see when they come through town. Now, the great thing is we've got some awesome venues for these performers to come to. You've got M&T Bank Stadium here in Baltimore for massive events like U2 coming to town. You've got the Royal Farms Arena, which is a little bit older, but we still bring in some decent acts into the Royal Farms Arena. Now, as you head down further south, you've got the Merriweather Pavilion, which is a great venue because it's outdoors. And during the summer months, it's the place to watch some of your biggest acts perform here locally. Now, once we get down to DC, you've got FedEx Field, you've got the Verizon Center, which are awesome spots to watch these great performers at. So if you're a music lover like me, you're gonna love the scene here in the Baltimore DC area. Now, those of you that are looking for free events, DC has this down. The reason I say that is a lot of events are free in DC because of the huge student population with all of the universities that I mentioned earlier. They do a ton of free stuff in DC, but my favorite free thing to do in the DC area is to actually go to the Washington Zoo. They don't charge admission to get into the zoo. You can just walk right on in. So that's a great event to do if you're an animal lover, or a great family event as well. In Baltimore, one of my favorite things to do for you beer lovers out here, you're gonna love this one. We have a ton of craft breweries. You see, we've got Heavy Seas, we've got Union City, we've got Monument City, we've got Duke Hall Brewing, all of them right here in the city of Baltimore. Now, if beer's not your thing, we've got plenty of vineyards like Bordy Vineyards, or Black Ankle is another great spot to go to if you're really into drinking local wines. Now, for you whiskey lovers out there, you've got to try Sagamore Spirits. It's a great spot that Kevin Plank, who is the founder of Under Armour, developed recently here in the Baltimore area. And it's such a cool experience to go in to Sagamore Spirits right where they're doing whiskey prep and teaching you all about it. So you've got to go down and check that out. All right, my friends, those are my favorite things to do right here in Baltimore and DC. I hope you found this video useful. I loved making it. Again, if a move to the Baltimore or DC area is in your near future, we'd love to be a part of it and help you out in that transition. Again, please reach out to us. Give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email because we've got your back when moving right here to the Baltimore metro area. Until the next time, we'll catch you later.